Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody's having a great start to your week. It's Money Monday. So, we're obviously going to be talking in the vein of how to create opportunities to earn money, how to understand and operate with money. The ultimate goal is what we discuss more on Wednesdays, which is wealth building. So we have wealth building Wednesdays and Money Mondays, both focusing highly on understanding finance and creating the best opportunity for your personal future and the future of your progeny. The goal should be generational wealth. It should be the building and preparation to pass on uh, wealth at a higher level than you inherited. And most of us are coming from situations where we inherited no wealth. And in many instances, inherited debt. And so it is a process. It's about learning, it's about moving, it's about understanding. Um, it's about learning how to navigate this because it's not easy. It's not some you jump out there, you get it, and you just flow smoothly through it. But if you follow it, if you practice it, if you commit to it, you'll be surprised at what you are able to do. I've seen all extremes and all ends, and I can tell you that it is a process. There's no magic quotient. There's no once you get it, you're done. Um, some people manage it differently. Some people have a high tolerance for risk, and with that comes great reward, but also it comes with a level and risk of losing. And you have people who will start over multiple times over the course of their life, especially those who are reaching. But when you learn how to hedge, which is something that we'll be talking a lot about, and we will talk about it a little bit today in that. So, but this is Money Monday, and today's topic is 8 foundational principles of business that you definitely need to know. As we talk about business today, what I want to do is people talk about business, they talk about having companies, they talk about having businesses, and most people don't understand the basic principles of business. Now, while I'm giving you 8 foundational principles of business, these aren't the only business principles. These are simply foundational principles. They're not the only foundational principles. I literally live primarily, and I've given you this one before, and I'll keep revisiting it as we do this. Basically, three three principles: find the problem, create the solution. That's one. Two, deliver it with quality and morality and ethics and an appreciation for delivering a good experience. Number three, make it unique to your own personality and brand so that it's hard to duplicate. That means that if people want it, they have to come to you. When you do that, you have solidified a big portion of it. But we're going to talk about 8 principles. What I want to do now is I want to very quickly iterate the importance of understanding the need now for multiple streams of income. If you've ever been around anybody talking money, you've heard multiple streams of income until it's just like annoying as hell to hear because you know it's going to be a part of the conversation. But I can't tell you how valuable the understanding of the need for multiple streams of income. It's not just saying I got money coming from every direction. What it's saying is I'm using multiple streams of income to hedge my primary source of income so that if something were to disrupt my primary source of income, I'm not left hanging with nothing. I'm learning how to create different streams of income. And what else happens when you have multiple streams of income? You have a diversity of flow, meaning that if something happens in a particular industry, it does not shut you down completely. And I've had to deal with this on multiple occasions over my life. One of the last times was this 2 year period of the pandemic where businesses were being closed at an alarming rate. Some recovered, some didn't. How to navigate that so that you remain in a situation where you are still lively. It doesn't mean everything is happening the way you want to. It doesn't mean that you have an abundance or surplus of cash flow. It means that you remain a viable business that will allow you over the long term to create the livelihood you desire. This is hard work. This is commitment. This is longevity. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't this. And with 35 years in the game, I can tell you that I've learned how to measure time better with time. When you're in your 20s, 2 or 3 years seems like forever. When you're in your 30s, you start to say, okay, it's stretching it. When you get to my age, 2 or 3 years is a small price to pay, three price to pay if you're demanding a great deal from life. But anyway, into that over time. But I want to talk of it in the description box is an opportunity to join me for a course that I will be teaching on the 30th of this month, which is not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. And it's on a course that I already offer, which is the 7-day online business launch. It's literally how I reinvented myself in business after taking the major hit back in the early 2000s when the economy collapsed and so much of what I was doing was in real estate and so much of other things went wrong and a bunch of stuff happened. It was the perfect storm for me to have a collapse and hit rock bottom. I did, but I reinvented myself. And the beauty of what I'm sharing with you now is in all of the challenges that I've met in this process, the challenges that I still face today is that I am in control of my life. I don't have to have anyone's permission to wake up and do what I do. I wake up every day and I answer to my calling. I answer to my purpose. I answer to the things I love and I'm passionate about. Is it easy all the time? No. But can I wake up every day and see the progress and the beauty in what I do? And does it give me the sense of fulfillment that keeps me alive in some of the most significantly dark moments in my life? And it does. And so that's what matters to me, is that I see my vision and I see my movement. Now we're going to talk about some important things over this, but you want to sign up for that. Also, there's a link to sign up if you want to teach your children uh, financial business principles. There's a booklet I created. It's only $10. It's called Financial Literacy for Teens. And also, if you want to join the Legacy Wealth program, which is a 6-month program where we learn everything from creating businesses to living trusts, unincorporated business trust, the type of trust that Rockefeller created and used to ensure that for 10 generations his family would be safe and beyond. He's already reached that and he's still going because they continue to follow the blueprint. We're going to talk about all of that and how anybody can do that. You don't have to have $1 million. You don't have to have $1 billion. You have to have a sense of urgency. Start with 50, start with 100, build until you can sit up and say that. And then you teach that to the next generation. They do the same thing. We're going to talk about all that in Legacy Wealth. We're going to talk about and we talk more about wealth on Wednesday, but I just wanted to say, if you want to sign up for that, it is a 6-month course, but it also offers a lifetime membership to the Epic Realm community, which is built primarily of former clients of mine who have went on to do unbelievable things and are still advancing and doing things. And they're there to share, they're there to encourage, they're there to lift, they're there to inspire and empower. And one of the rules is no negativity. We are there to fan your flames. We're there to encourage you. We have and we will start our weekly Q&As. So you put you table your dream, your vision, your ideas, and everything. Nobody's going to tell you it's stupid. Nobody's going to tell you you're crazy. People are going to sit down and come up with ways to help you do it. These are people who have worked with me that started from as far as being homeless, people who have created their businesses, people who have done some unbelievable things, and they have decided to come back and give back. And so you can pay for your lifetime membership, which is only $100, or you can get Legacy Wealth, get the training and the principles and everything that you need to know. And we can go into this thing. Everybody's at a stage of building this thing. Unless you are already extremely independently wealthy, you're at a stage of building it. The thing is for everybody to come together and be a link and a support. And I think that I have done a good job at creating that. So let's move into the foundational principles so we can get this over with. Look, first principle on the list is have a quality product. Now, here's the thing that I actually teach you in the 7-day online business launch. If you have years of experience on your job or jobs in a particular industry, whether it was with one company or 5, then you have a skill set, you have a talent, you have something that has value in a particular industry. That means that you need to learn how your talent and your value serves the particular industry you've been operating in. if you create something for your employee, that's a product. You can take that, and even if you can't use that particular product because they bought a license it for themselves, you have the ability to create your own. Now, here's the beauty of this thing that I teach. You don't have to have your own product or service, but you want it to be a quality product of service. So you can literally, through affiliate marketing, CPA, which is cost per action marketing, you can market other people's products, other people's services, other people's opportunities, and get paid a percentage or a commission based on the agreement of how it pays out. Sometimes there's multi-level payouts. Sometimes it's per action, cost per action, CPAs, which are great, and you see them all the time. Sometimes you can get paid just for getting the person to take a survey. You can get paid for open. I mean, so many different things that you can do that you don't have to start online businesses, especially if you already have an income. Your online businesses are initially going to be to hedge your primary income. What does that mean? That's protecting against catastrophic loss in case your company shuts down, lays off, fires you, goes under, whatever. And as someone who, and I've shared this with you before, who was literally responsible for repatriating the executives for Enron when that company collapsed, let me tell you what happens when you think you're secure and you have a very nice income from a company that seems to be fully afloat, and you find out that it's not, and you find out that you're on the chopping block and how it looks. I know what that looks like. It's devastating. But you can protect yourself against that by having multiple streams of income in across different and divergent industries, so that something going wrong in one industry will not totally knock you out of the box. So have a quality product. Number two, know your industry and competitors. This is one of the most important things that I teach when I'm teaching business. Is where we tend to lose ourselves is that we are not aware of how the industry moves. We just know we like something. We have a passion for something. We know we want it. So we decide to jump into it, but we don't have an awareness of the market. We don't have awareness of the industry, the competitors. What you need to understand at the very basic level when you are starting a business is, what market are you entering into? Who are the major players in the market? What share of the market do the major players have? What part of the market is acquirable? If a major player has the market, the chance of you taking that, because with limited capital, limited awareness, limited brand awareness, is not likely. So what you want to look for are shares of the market that are not controlled by major players. You're not going in and taking Macy's. You know, if you're talking about retail, fashion retail, you're not going in and taking Macy's clients. But there may be some boutique type niches where you can go in and you can sit up and say, okay, this is something that I can move on. But that's going to happen in you're going to create a business plan, then you're going to have a marketing plan based off of a marketing analysis where you really went in, you determine who your competitors were, how they're moving, what are they successful in, what are they not so good at, where do you see weaknesses, where do you see you having a solution to a problem that is not being adequately solved, or that hasn't been solved in the way that you can solve it. That creates a niche for you. When you do that, you minimize competitive force against you, and you create your own space. When you do that initially, you're going to find that there are people out there that are looking just for what you've been offering and haven't been able to find it. That's your ideal target audience. That's where you want to go, but you have to be willing to gain an understanding of that. Most people jump in and create products and then try to create a market for the product, and then it doesn't work out well. Number two, promote your products and services. Here's another part that we don't tend to get understand. Just sitting up and saying I haven't it, and being in the public, the publishing industry, being a published author and also having a publishing company, what I can tell you is a lot of people write the book, they get it published, and then they don't have a plan. You've got to market the plan. You've got to make sure that people outside of your immediate circle understand that the book exists, understand what the book does, understand the value of reading the book, and that you build that brand in the book. You build the desire and the need and the urgency to buy the book, and that comes through marketing, that comes through promotion, that comes through awareness. You have to have that plan. If you don't know how to, you need to bring in a team that is capable of doing that for you. You need to build a great staff, and this is one of the most difficult things in growing. I can tell you this from personal experience. When you initially start, there's a good chance it's just you. You're going to be doing everything from content development to market research to client acquisition to all these different things that are a part of business. But eventually you're going to grow to a point as your business demands to expand that you realize that you don't have enough time in the day to do it all. You also are going to come to the reality that you are not an expert in every aspect of business, and attempting to engage is actually pulling you back. I know now there are times, and one of the things that we're going through with Rick Wallace Enterprises now is growing pains. Cash flow to facilitate a massive expansion without accumulating or acquiring debt. Oh, it's something that we're working on, but we have a few investors we want to get paid off, and then we don't want debt. So then we have to really generate the revenue from within. Easier said than done, but it's the thing I want to do because it serves my family. It keeps my business valuation where I want it. And it keeps me in control of what I'm passionate about, my intellectual property and the things that I've created. But you've got to have an awareness of this. One thing that my mentor taught me a long time ago, that trying to hold on to all the profit by not inviting anybody in ensures you limit the profit. And the simple question that my mentor used a long time ago was, what is the most? 100% of 100,000 or 10% of 5 million? And the answer is 10% of 5 million is 5 times more than 100% of 100,000. He says, well, imagine the 100,000 is what you can optimize at doing everything by yourself. You won't have to share your profits with anybody, but you're going to optimize and max out at 100,000 because there's only 24 hours in a day. Now imagine that you bring people in who are actually better at certain things than you are. You sell them on your vision. You give them an opportunity to build, and you actually pay them better than you pay yourself. At the end of the day, you still end up with more than 100,000, and you end up with a lot more free time to create your next ingenious idea and build a new team. That is how you want to do it. You want to build a great staff. You want to build a staff that is built to explode your vision. And that is by, first of all, understanding that you're not going to get it all done. Now, you may have to start there, and there's nothing wrong with starting there, but at some point, you're going to have to scale. And you need to really, in the beginning of building the company, understand what you want to do with it, how you want to do it, all the way up to an exit strategy. You should always have an exit strategy of what you want to do with your company if you no longer feel like running it. And what that looks like for you, what that looks like for your family, what that looks like for the future of the company. Remember, you created this thing. You should have a connection to it. It should mean something to you. So you should have an exit strategy. Number 5, understand organizational structure and design. This comes right after building a staff. You need to understand how to build an organization based on what you're trying to accomplish, from the heads and the administrative roles to the financial elements and components of running a business, to the marketing elements and components of running a business, the importance of the customer experience, customer acquisition, customer loyalty, customer intelligence, and so much more. You need to have that understanding, and you need to be able to use that to build. Number 6, use your capital and cash flow wisely. Here's where so many people fail. People think because it came into the coffer that it's free to spend it. And I can tell you, when you pull from the coffer before something has matured and is truly profit, you suck the life out of your company. Most of the time, even though you have cash flow, you have a revenue stream coming in, you've got to understand that your company requires a certain amount of that revenue to stay valid, to stay viable, to stay alive. Then it requires an additional part of that revenue to facilitate growth and stability long term. Now you determine what you're going to do with what's left. Obviously, you got to eat, you got to pay your bills, and you got to do that stuff. And so what happens is a lot of times you get desperate for something, and a lot of times for first-time business owners, especially for those who come from media from uh, meager beginnings, so to speak. The idea is to prove to everyone how much cash flow you have. So you're buying things that you really can't afford when you understand the dynamics of finance. You should have a percentage understanding of how much of your uh, discretionary profits can go to any one type of non-essential expenditure. So if I don't absolutely have to have it, how much money do I have allocated from my profits for just stuff that I don't have to, I just want it? And are and that goes even for something as essential as a vehicle. I need a vehicle, but I need $100,000 vehicle? Now don't get me wrong, there are areas of operation in which your presentation has a lot to do with how people view you. Unfortunately, that's how the world operates. But when you're operating online, that doesn't often come into play. People are observing, they're looking, they're trying to see, because we've been taught to look for the symbols of excellence, the symbols of financial advancement. So we're looking, what does he drive? What does he wear? What does she have on? Are those red bottoms? Are those? And so we're looking for all the wrong things. I like to listen to a person more than I look at them. I like to listen to them talk. And because I take time to educate myself on things, I know when they're talking truth. I know when they're speaking it, even if they're speaking above my pay grade, something I haven't learned yet. And that's the other thing that you're going to have to learn and master, is that you don't know everything. I don't care how long you've been in the business. I don't care how long you've been doing something. There's always room to learn. That is what's going to determine how well you do in this world, is your ability to acknowledge you need to know more and to be willing to be around those. The way to becoming a master, I saw this somewhere earlier. The way to becoming a master is by studying and operating underneath a master. Nobody wants to be that mentee. Everybody wants to be the one that's teaching, but don't really have them. I still have my mentor, my initial business mentor. And there have been times where I transcended his performance in the business world. But he always was the mentee, because he provides stability. He keeps me aware of my humanity. He keeps me aware of where my weaknesses are, because I obviously have them. And so it's about managing those things. It's about knowing who you are as an individual. It's about protecting and hedging against your weakness, your proclivities to do things that are not going to serve you well. You got to know who you are and be honest with yourself. A big part of success isn't the structural principles, it's the psychology or the psychological principles, how you view things, how you perceive things, how you interpret things, how you manage stress, how you manage desperate moments, because there will be desperate moments when you sit up and go. And let me explain something to you. Again, this comes from years and years of living this life and seeing some unbelievable highs and some devastating lows. Perception of time changes. So when I talk about moments, sometimes I'm talking about seconds, sometimes I'm talking about days, sometimes I'm talking about months, and other times I'm talking about years, where you're looking at something and it doesn't make sense to you, that whatever. So, but what you cannot do is quit. A lot of you are where you are because you gave up, because you quit, because it didn't happen fast enough. What I'm telling you, there are some things that I didn't experience until I went far beyond where people are telling me, what are you still doing? And then all of a sudden, what I can tell you is the longer it takes for you to get there, the more expansive the reward you will receive for persevering. Now, that's your psychology is about 80% of your success. You need the principles, you need the awareness, you need to understand finance, you need to understand business, you need to understand the process, you need to understand organizational principles, you need to understand all that. But if you don't have a mindset that's built to withstand the things that you're going to go through, and let me tell you, here's the thing, while you're doing your business, you're going to meet so many challenges that's going to test your resolve. Now, check this out. While you're having all that happen, there's a whole personal life you're living over here that may be bringing the same level of intent and trouble and desperation and a bunch of things. And you still got to make this work because this is how everybody eats. Your life at the end of the day doesn't give a damn about whether or not you're going through this, whether or not this happened to you, whether or not that. You have to show up and you have to make it happen. Don't give up, don't quit, don't turn around, because there is this principle called the law of reciprocity, sowing and reaping. What you put out there, what you protect, what you cultivate is what you're going to be able to harvest. Now, the problem is a lot of us want to harvest early. We want to harvest now because we need something now. And we're not understanding that some of the things we planted, the seeds have a longer germination or gestation period. Depending on what you plant, the time it takes for the seed to germinate and the gestation period is different. It takes much longer to get an oak tree than it does a rose. So it depends on what you need. If you need something for immediate gratification, you get the rose. But if you need something for long-term stability, you get the oak tree. But you're going to have to plant, be patient, work it, protect it, keep the soil fertilized, all the things. Now, that's a lot to think about, but it's real simple. You don't give up on your dream. You speak life into your vision. You speak life into what you believe. You keep pushing until you arrive. This is something, and I'll tell you, the last few years have been mad crazy for me. I've seen some unbelievable highs, but I've seen some devastating lows in business and in person. But what I tell you is every day I wake up and I'm thankful. Every day I wake up and I'm grateful. Every day I wake up and I love on people. Every day I wake up and I give. This past weekend was an awesome weekend for me because I checked out. You didn't see a whole lot from me. I don't think you see any videos from me over the weekend. Why? Because I was taking time. I spent time with my youngest grandson. And I just consumed that unadulterated, pure love. Now, I don't want anything from you, dude, but just to hang out with you. That type of love, the type I get from my youngest daughter, the type I get from my youngest grandson. They haven't registered me as an ATM yet in their mind. They know they can get stuff, but that ain't what. Hey, just hang out with me. Just love on me. Just let me feel your masculine energy. That type of thing. You got to learn how to balance that. You got to learn how to allow all of this stuff to happen. It's not simply going out in this rigid idea of just doing this. Life is happening while you're building this business. I want that to be understood. You need to understand the foundational principles of accounting and finance. We sort of touched on that. And if you don't, you need to understand the basics. At some point, you're going to need to bring in an expert, someone who knows how to structure it, someone who knows how to manage it, someone who knows all the tax codes, someone who knows all the financial things that can set you back or destroy you, and to keep books. And over time, you need an outsider to come in and audit your books to make sure. Because one thing I can tell you is I know more than a handful of people who were very successful at businesses and ended up broke because their CPA was hitting them. So you've got to have all the checks. This is business. It's about the long term. Finally, this is probably the most primitive and pure of all the principles. Respect and appreciate your customers. You're in business to provide a service. You're in business to provide a product. Ultimately, you're in business to answer a need or a problem. And respect your customers, because if you respect your customers, you put yourself in a position to understand and be empathetic to their experience with your company. And you're not perfect, trust me. There are going to be shipments that don't arrive on time, shipments that didn't arrive at all, customers that got everything they wanted and still aren't happy. And you got to know how to handle that. You got to appreciate them, because your customers are the longevity and livelihood of your business. You need to have a customer awareness. The one thing that you will need to be able to do consistently, and social media has provided the platform for that, is gather as much customer intelligence as possible. Customer intel tells you who your target audience is, their age group, if their gender, if it's gender specific, their race, if it's race specific, their desires, what they like, what drives their driving decision. I mean, their buying decisions. So much about them that allows you to properly market to them, properly promote what you are providing to them in a way that they perceive it as something they need and are willing to spend money on. But the back end of it is the customer experience, because I tell people all the time, You need customer acquisition. You need to be able to acquire new customers, but where your business thrives and stays afloat is in customer loyalty, the ability to keep customers for more than one purchase, for more than one experience. And that's so important. And it comes from a level of respect, a level of engagement, a level of awareness, being willing to say when you're wrong, being willing to apologize and make amends, being willing to sit up and go the distance. The quality of the experience, the amount of trust is going to determine the longevity of your business. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with now. Again, if you are serious about creating multiple streams of income, I created more than 12 years ago. When I was recovering and reinventing myself, I created a formula of creating online businesses with very low startup, uh, low cost entry, build and expand, grow your business from within your business, and keep your debt low, keep your expenditures low, and you'll reach profitability in a record time, and you can move on from there. So with that being said, that information is in there. If you want to sign up now, the course I created was a self-paced course. It comes with several hours of videos, all of the information step-by-step, written instructions on how to set the entire thing up, and it's self-paced, but it can be done in 7 days. But what I'm doing is I'm actually coming online and I'm going to teach it step by step, what you do to start a business and how you can get it done. I've gotten to the point now, if I come up with an idea and say, man, I bet you that can make money, I can have it up in a day, ready to receive the first order that day. Obviously, that comes with a lot of experience, that comes with understanding, but it can be done. The internet and social media has given you an optimal opportunity that there should be no one on social media complaining about how much they make. There should be no one on social media complaining about how much they hate their job. That should be why? Because it's all that energy you're spending complaining could be spent building. And if you don't like what you have, change it. That's the beauty of being who you are. You have the ability to change anything you don't want in your world. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not telling you it's going to happen overnight. But what I'm telling you, if you don't do anything, you won't get anything different. So again, if you want to join, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, do it. If you want to join the Legacy Wealth program and actually learn in detail over 6 months what you need to totally change your life and the life of your progeny, the future and the extension of who you are into the future, your lineage. You definitely want to do all that. But the opportunity to learn this, and you're getting it at a fraction of what it's worth. You're going to learn this for less than $400. You're going to get a chance to launch a business. You're going to get access to me. You're going to get follow-up access where you actually get to talk to me, 2 sessions of that, and then ongoing email communication until you get the business up and going. You cannot beat this. Let me help you. But what I can tell you is we have finally reached a point where we need multiple streams of income. It's not just about having it as something to brag about and something to say, you need it now. You need it now more than ever before. And I'm going to talk about some of that on Wednesday on why multiple streams of income are more important now than ever before. And on that note, I am going to get out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I leave and die on E. I'm challenging you to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.